Gerald's Secret. Yay! Gerald episode! In this episode, Arnold and his friends are participating in a 4K that's going to raise money, where they bike, and it raises money for world peace. How, I don't know. The episode never bothers to explain. But Gerald's reluctant to participate, and after pressing, Arnold finds out that Gerald doesn't know how to ride a bike. He had a traumatic experience when he was a child. Well, younger than he is now. Like toddler Gerald, which is so cute. And because of that, Gerald's not able to ride a bike. He's really reluctant. So Arnold takes it upon himself to teach Gerald how to ride a bike. But unfortunately, word gets out, thanks to Harold, of course, that Gerald doesn't know how to ride a bike. So everyone teases him and taunts him. And then eventually Arnold steps up and he's like, hey, Gerald can ride a bike. He's going to ride in the 4K. And Gerald's reluctant. He's like, no, I can't do it. And then Arnold's like, yes, you can. And come the big day of the 4K, surprise, surprise, Gerald can do it. And it was a charming episode again. Gerald's a character that's constantly just been there to serve as a foil to Arnold. So it was nice for him to get an episode where he's the focus, he gets sympathy, yada, 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 yada. I was a little surprised by the reason Gerald got the bike. I thought it was going to be a little something deeper than what it was. And it was cute. Again, it's always nice seeing Arnold do the right thing. So it was nice to see Gerald help teach him how to ride a bike. And there was a nice dream sequence. I mean, it was fine. The nightmare sequence that Gerald has where Harold's pushing him down the hill. It was a nice dream sequence. My problem is I had just seen the Helga Love Potion episode, and by contrast, it was a pretty tame nightmare. And speaking of Harold, he was a little tad underdeveloped here. He was basically just the standard dumb bully. And at one point in the 4K, he goes flying into the baby supply house, which I thought was a good gag. But again, he's just the standard bully. Although I did like the detail of how throughout the episode on Harold's tires they're deflated, because Harold's probably not bright enough to know you need to constantly keep refilling your tires with air. So I thought that was a great way to set up him going flying into the baby shop at the end. It was nice to say, hey, that was there the whole time, and it wasn't just something the animators thought up on the spot. So since I have time, I'll talk about another episode. This one is The Big Scoop. In this episode, we focus on the school newspaper at Arnold's school. They're printing stories, doing all that's good in the world. And Arnold's, of course, overseeing the paper. Helga drops the scoop, and Arnold's like, did you check your sources? And Helga's like, yeah, I checked my sources. And then it turns out she didn't. She just created a false story. Arnold gets some heat from the principal, even though Helga's the one that wrote the story, so she could get the heat. But regardless, Arnold tells Helga to get out. She goes to start her own paper, and she decides to make a gossip paper where she's not going to write news. She's just going to write what people want to hear, what'll sell, insert fake news joke here. And surprise, surprise, her newspaper actually does pretty well. The Pataki Press is doing better than the school newspaper. And it's kind of a bummer because she's posting all these baloney stories about Arnold, Gerald, and the gang. She's posting contradictory. She at one point sneaks into Arnold's press room, looks at one of the stories about how we're getting a new playground, and Helga writes a false story about how it's unsafe. But eventually Arnold's able to get the one-up on her when he catches whiff that Helga's gonna write a story about how the school's gonna be torn down, how the principal's walls are going to be broken down. Helga spins it as they're destroying the school and replacing it with an amusement park. But Arnold goes to the principal and gets the real story, which is that they're not tearing the school down, they're just building an expansion, and he puts that in the paper. All the kids read it, and because cartoon logic, because 11-minute runtime, they all turn on Helga. And yeah, it was a charming episode. I enjoyed it, even if it was one of the more mean-spirited Helga episodes. She was printing false stories, just being a jerk, but, I can't really get mad at that because this isn't a stretch from reality. We live in a world Arnold came out in the 90s, but it's still relevant. Like, particularly now with social media, like, there are tons of clickbait articles, tons of 6 things you didn't know, what this actor really thought of this movie. It's very easy to just read all that stuff, take it at face value, and not really look into whether or not it's true or whether or not it's being blown up or blown out of proportions. Like, and we tend to assume that just because something is written, it's true. Recently, like, the college I went to, like, had a major housing shakeup, and it was like, I don't want to get into specifics, but basically they had to build an extra dorm on campus, and like a temporary dorm, and it was like not too big of an issue, but the local newspaper was spinning it like it was a sensation, whereas a student on campus actually went, sat down with the head of housing, got the information, got like what actually was going on, and wrote that, and it was far more informative, far more insightful, and much better. And admittedly, I was guilty to reading the local news, but again, it just goes to show you that sometimes people are desperate for juicy gossip stories, like, and more so than facts. And I admit, like, sometimes I like hearing negative stories. Like, we have this Han Solo movie in development, there's tons of drama, and there's part of me that sort of relishes in the drama and wants there to be some sort of behind-the-scenes conspiracy about how Lord and Miller are getting screwed over by Kathleen Kennedy, even though I probably shouldn't. I should probably hope that everything decision made on that film was to make the best film possible, and there weren't any hidden agendas, cynical business strategies, or catering to mainstream audiences behind it. But I digress. I enjoyed how Arnold kept his moral ground on this. Like, he didn't stoop to Helga's level at all. Like, there was a moment when he got the blackmail on Helga that he could potentially use, but he's like, I'm not, then I won't be better than Helga. And it was nice to see Arnold stay consistent to his character, even amidst everything, because there's been other children's shows, not children's shows, but animated shows where they've done the newspaper episode with a similar premises. Specifically, shows like My Little Pony have done this, and there's some like My Little Pony that have done a very charming, very equally relevant take on it, but then there's some where it just got really mean-spirited. My Gym Partner's a Monkey, if anyone remembers that show. There was an episode very similar to this where there was, at one point, Adam and Jake are on the school newspaper, and Jake starts writing all this fake gossip, all these stories that aren't true about how Adam has crushes on all these female teachers, and Adam gets pissed, and so he's like, Jake, how would you like if I just made up a bunch of stories about you? And Jake's like, I don't know. And then Adam writes a story, and it turns out to be true, and they're like, well, you wrote the truth, and it just got really ugly and mean-spirited. I'm glad the show didn't take that route. And again, it was satisfying to see Arnold just beat Helga legitimately. Like, and again, that's one of the charms of Arnold, is he's always willing to do the right thing. He's never, like, just gonna not do the right thing. And that's all I have to say on this episode. Again, I'm going to cut it off here just because I want to keep these short. So, in regards to these 2 episodes, Gerald's Secret and Big Scoop, any thoughts on these episodes or experiences with bikes, please comment, let me know. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So, till then, take care. Peace out.